How do you go from 75 people who are committed to something to 15,000 in less than 18 months? Would those numbers make a difference in your business? Would those numbers make a difference in your association or your organization? Would those numbers make a difference if you went from 75 people following you, and I mean avidly, to 15,000 people willing to run through walls for you, willing to take a bullet, willing to endure risk and hardship? Would that make a difference in your life, your business, if you could elicit the support of 15,000 people ravenously pursuing your goals and your vision, and it went from 75? That's exactly what we did with the Village Stability Program in the spring of 2010 until somewhere around late 2012, 2013. I wrote about it in my book, Game Changers. Highly recommend you pick this book up sometime. You can get it at rooftopleadership.com under books, but a very, very small number of Green Berets, Navy SEALs, Marine Special Ops, and a few other advisors went into the most trust-depleted places in Afghanistan. I mean, places where you had to fight for your life years prior. And they inspired and mobilized thousands upon thousands of villagers, Pashtun tribesmen, to stand up on their own and fight back against the Taliban. Now, these are people who had been suffering from inescapable shock, as the anthropologist Patrick Christian calls it. They were literally stuck between fight and flight. They didn't trust each other, they didn't trust us, and they certainly had no willingness to go up on a rooftop and endure heavily effective enemy fire, put their families at risk through retribution, but yet they did. And they didn't just do it in one village or 6 villages, but 113 villages across some of the most contentious places in Afghanistan. Why did they do it? Because it was a movement. But how did these advisors, these small groups of advisors, go into these places and actually move people to do this? They met them where they are. They met them where they were, not where they wanted them to be. When I wrote this book, I highlighted 4 game-changing principles that these advisors did that I believe could help defeat ISIS and other violent extremists around the world and create powerful movements in civilian life and business. Of the 4 game-changing principles that I identified on the battlefield, the number 1 is meet them where they are, not where you want them to be. Why is that? Because as I studied and conducted this leadership exercise and operation across all disciplines over the last several years, what I've found is that humans are remarkably similar. We are all meaning-seeking, emotional, social creatures. We need emotion in our lives. We need purpose in our lives. And our status in the context of how we're viewed by others is always on our mind. And when you can meet people where they are, regardless of their race, their religion, their socioeconomic status, you develop a level of human connection that makes it possible for them to take action in a way they otherwise would not take. The biological elements of empathy and even reciprocity, where the other party feels such a deep connection to you that they want to do something for you. That end game of reciprocity and loyalty and human connection, relationships, that's what we're after in these dusty villages of Afghanistan and beyond, but also in the trust-depleted, high-stakes environments of the corporate world with your clients and even nonprofits. So meeting people where they are, not where you want them to be, is one of the number 1 things that I teach leaders today. And this month, in December, it's going to be our theme. You know, we've been working hard on the play Last Out, Elegy of a Green Beret. It premiered on November 10th, and we're taking it on tour in November 2019. But to wrap up 2018 for Rooftop Leadership, I want to talk about meeting people where they are, because let me tell you something. If you have this skill, if you know how to meet people where they are, right? If you can leverage the power of a network, if you can assess the emotional climate in a room, if you can build relationships before transactions, right? And you can see the pictures in people's heads, you are the most relevant person in the room, and you have a serious competitive edge in life and business. And that's where we're going to focus over the next few weeks. One of the things you're going to see real soon is a TEDx talk by my dad, Rex Mann. This guy's 73 years old. He's overcome stage 4 cancer that was in his bone marrow, and now he's creating a movement to restore a tree once thought extinct. Now, as you watch this video that's coming up in a week or so, I want you to think about the power of the network that's at play to bring this tree back. It is amazing, and it shows you firsthand what one person can do when they leverage the power of a collective network and they meet people where they are. It's going to be a great month. It's going to be a fun holiday month. But this theme of meeting people where they are, even in the holiday season, when there's political disagreements, when you don't or you do like Donald Trump, or you don't or you do agree with the Supreme Court or gun control or whatever, why don't you start by meeting people where they are? Really see the pictures in their heads. Put the relationship before the transaction. And you'll, even assess the emotional temperature of the environment. And you'll find that you can do some amazing, amazing things in terms of leadership, moving people to action, and leading people who don't want to follow. So I'm glad we're back together. I'm looking forward to our topics this month. And remember, meet people where they are, not where you want them to be. And I'll see you on the rooftop.